Well, as we keep saying, it has been a wild, wild year. And I've been interviewing builders and remodelers around the country to sort of get a feel for the overall picture of how maybe business will look in 2021 or how people are feeling about it. And one of the guys I really, really enjoy in Dallas, and he's a fixture in Dallas, Michael Turner, Classic Urban Builders, has been in business for a long time. He started out in the trades and then built his home building business from there. He has been the president of the Dallas Builders Association. He's very active in the community, and I'm so glad to have him here today. Good morning, Mr. Turner. How are you?
Alex, I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me here today.
That's great. That's great. I I told you, I think the theme of this interview was going to be the new urban buyer. And it was interesting that I just did an interview with Allison and Tosca in Boston, and we kind of had that conversation a little bit, how buyers have changed in the last few years. What are you experiencing in your new home business?
Yeah, I'd say they're definitely a lot more savvy than they've ever been. With the age of the internet, they can do lots of research and they can become professional buyers.
That's a nice way to put it.
when they come to you. So the type of product that I build, and kind of being a building science guy, I like it when they ask the questions about what's behind the walls and and claddings and how do you waterproof this. So it really kind of caters to what we do and what we're after. But yeah, I would say overall, boy, they're a lot more savvy than they've ever been, and they like a lot more detail. They like you to get them pricing on a lot of different products before they start. So it's definitely not as easy as it once was. I mean, it was never easy, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely
it's always been a job.
It's always been a job.
Right.
And now it's there's a lot more detail to it, and it's like we were talking before, is you're asking me if I'm busy, and busy. Yeah, I mean we're all busy. It doesn't always mean you have like a bunch of projects going, but it just means the projects you got are pretty intense. A lot of details going on. And
you say you have to spend a whole lot of time on them now. One of the things that the internet has done for us, and really sort of the whole thing we've been dealing with the last few years, and I really believe the internet is a huge driver in all of this for the same reason you said. These people are able to go on and spend all day looking at stuff or looking at a show that someone else has done, and boy, would that look great. Hey, Michael, I want this bizarre thing on my living room wall. Can you do that? Sure. Sure, I could do it. But the amount of information that we all have just pounding in our ears and in our eyes every day is just stunning. It's stunning. It's information overload. And you end up chasing rabbits in lots of holes before you ever get to where it's harder to make a decision is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where being an experienced builder, having done this for many years, you try to take a client in the beginning and go, look, you can get overwhelmed with the information out there. We try to have them pre-select as much of the finish out of the house as we possibly can. And I tell them, when you make that decision, close the book on that, go find something else to occupy your time. And, because if you start second guessing yourself, it becomes a very daunting project. You get a lot of confusion. You get material ordered and then you decide, well, we don't want to do that. And then you're reordering restocking.
It's like getting on your computer. And I know everybody does it. Like you sit in front of the TV in your favorite chair and you put your laptop in your lap and you just start diddling around on your computer, and you never stop anywhere. You just keep looking.
No, you're
all these
down
things.
Rabbit holes.
Boy, I'm telling you, man, you're just like a little bunny. And And so you're right. You're right. It's hard to focus on a single thing, and that particularly in how many parts are there to a house, right?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah. And so every room, every bathroom, every bedroom, the kitchen, whatever, the outside.
Yeah.
And there's all these options, and it's super hard to just get laser focused on that one thing and then stop.
Yeah, that's the thing. As I try to tell them is get focused, make the selection. Okay, focus on your kitchen. Focus on the appliances that you want in your kitchen.
Right.
Focus on the type of fixtures in the shower, in the tiles. But once you make those decisions, feel comfortable about them, close the book on them, and move on to something else.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to do, and it's hard to convey. And I know that we're basically on call 24/7 now. And so one of the things that you and I've had to adjust to, and I'm interested to get your input on this, is communicating with your clients, because you're in town. So you're dealing with a lot of younger people as your client base.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of flipped. It's to the point now where a lot of my clientele is younger than I am, and their number way of communicating is obviously through text,
Right.
and they think that's an instant access to you. And what I usually try to tell them on the front end is like, hey, we prefer emails because it's easy for me to track. It's easy for me to set in front of a computer. The text is bigger.
Forward it. Yeah, right. I could actually read it.
Yeah.
I could forward it to someone else to respond to, or a bunch of people. Or,
correct. Yeah. Let's use texting for, hey, I'm running 2 minutes late to that meeting.
Here's the thing. Here's the problem. They know how to do it all.
Yes.
Right. And you and I are going, okay, I just figured out how to do the texting where I can send it to 2 people.
Right.
And now, and it goes on and on. It goes on and on.
Well, and I think it's you just kind of set proper expectations in the beginning, and you just explain to them, hey, this is the way we operate. This is how we conduct business. We're there for you. We'll help you, but you just kind of set some parameters and some guidelines. And, you learn that try not to respond to, emails at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, because if you do, then it becomes the expected, way to communicate. So, you still got to run it like a business.
I tell them never text me after they've had their first glass of wine. That it's off limits.
Or you've had your first beer, right?
Yeah,
so whichever it is.
Beer. First cold beer. Michael likes to brew. He's a Brewster. How is your let's talk about the last 6 months. How has all this craziness affected your company?
Man, it has been, you just couldn't script this. I mean, it's the craziest thing. Obviously, when we went through, when COVID first started, thank God here in Dallas, we were deemed essential, so we were able to keep working. During that time, I was rebuilding or building new several homes that were tornado victims. People I'd built houses over the last 6-7 years that were right in Tornado Alley. And, there was that fear there for a while that we were going to be shut down, and these people were going to be displaced even longer. So,
that is a hard project.
Oh,
And I looked at a couple of them as well, and it's emotional enough when you're doing it because you want to do.
Yeah.
I have a couple of ways I talk to people about, are you doing this because you want to do it, or are you doing it because you have to do it? Mm-hmm. It's a total different approach to the project and a whole different mindset. And, if you're doing it because you want to do it, you're going to be a little more patient. You're going to be a little more flexible. You're going to, be a little happier when it's good, and maybe not quite so mad when it's not good. It's just part of it. But when you're having to do it, it's like having a tooth pulled.
Yeah. Well, and these are all homes that I'd built over the years. So, these, not only are they my clients, but a lot of them are personal friends. So, when they call you and go, hey, can you please help us get our house put back together? You feel obligated to take care of those people, and, you go to battle for them and try to get it done. And, and that was the other thing too, is, I didn't have a lot of experience dealing with insurance companies.
Oh boy.
And, I found out they were all not created equally.
No, they're not. They're not. Yeah. No, they're not.
Yeah.
That is a whole different part of the challenge. A rebuild of a storm damaged home or fire or whatever it is just a whole new beast for those of us that don't do it every day.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
that's one thing now. It's like with clients as we're getting towards the end of the build. I'll be vocal and go, hey, when you're shopping for your homeowner's insurance, let me just give you my experience that I've had in the last
Who
year.
not to call.
And who not to call. Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
it's good. Actually, that's the advice they ought to be giving.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
great advice because a lot of them don't realize that. Well, I talked to one insurance guy I know, and he goes, "Well, the husband will call me up because he wants to go get a new bass boat. So I got to get that insurance payment down, man. I got to get that monthly bass boat payment out of it." And he goes,
Right.
"Well, okay, but
Yeah.
We're not going to put a new roof on your
Yeah.
house when the tornado
You're going to
hits."
pay for it on the back end.
So you have to, as a homeowner, whether you or me or any homeowner, we have to make smart decisions, especially when you live in Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
expect to have to at some point maybe
Right.
need it.
Well, and I think that, I think it was probably 3 or 4 months of that. I think I was on your show. We were talking about homes and valuation and things like that. And, there's a lot of people that were underinsured, material, just building costs, year over year escalation in cost. And you don't factor that into your insurance, and you're insured at the same value that your house was built. 10 years later, man, you are upside down.
You're in a
You gotta
whole new
rebuild that
world.
place.
Whole
Yeah.
new world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so speaking of that, that's a great segue into.
I tried to do that,
Into
as a matter
you're
of fact,
amazing. You're amazing, considering we've never met before. Material cost, boy, that's become a big challenge for new home builders like you.
Yeah, that's got more movement than GameStop
Yeah.
stock right now. So.
Buy GameStop and buy plywood.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's just crazy. I mean, we'll all run into the big box stores from time to time, picking stuff up for job sites for personal use, and OSB is probably one of the most widely used, commodities on the job site.
Tell us what OSB is.
Okay, OSB is oriented strand board. That is a plywood type product. You'll hear it referred to as chipboard, but that's what you'll see. All homes are pretty much decked in that stuff.
It's holding your house together.
It's holding your house together. It's really, really good stuff as long as you don't get it wet. So
Right.
just getting it wet is not good. But in a normal building time, that stuff's anywhere from $6 to $8 a sheet. And it's $32 to $35 a sheet now if you can find it.
If you can find it.
If you can find it. I mean, just material framing, the lumber cost has probably had the largest impact that we've seen. It's really tough when you're bidding jobs now. Normally you could bid a job and it may take you 3, 4, 5 months for that project to get started, and you felt pretty comfortable kind of locking those numbers in, maybe putting a little bit of escalation price in there. But now it's like when I'm bidding a job for somebody, I go, hey, look, this lumber lock is for 10 days. That's as long as I can lock it in.
And I talked to a friend of ours recently who got caught up in that stuff. He wasn't ready for it, and his lumber bill came in $20,000 higher than he had bid it.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how you guys deal with that. I don't have that volume, but I'm working on a house, and we did a change order, and we had to buy lumber and stuff, and the owner was like, "Oh my gosh," and I go, "It's not the labor."
Yeah.
It's the $25 tuba 6 that's 10 feet long,
Right.
and the 100 of them I had to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
so that's the problem in it, and I'm just hoping it doesn't start having a negative effect on our projects or our volume of projects because of the cost. That's
Yeah.
my concern.
In as much, that's probably the biggest one as far as a cost driver, but the other things are just material shortages. There's
Right.
certain things that, an electrician ready to start a job the other day, and he goes, hey, we're going to be a couple days delayed on that roof because I can't get single gang boxes. The supply houses
my
roll out.
gosh.
Just crazy stuff. Hinges for doors. Shortages on
These
on
little
those.
things
just
that
little things
normally
that
you walk in and get.
you just never even think twice about, are kind of becoming the hiccup in the chain.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some challenges out there. I mean,
Well, and I've noticed ordering windows and things like that, where I may have been used to a 3 or 4 week window, not no pun intended.
of course, it would have been a good one.
No,
Just saying.
it's because I'm brilliant. Uh,
Have we ever met?
no.
Yeah.
Who are you? Anyway, we're now looking at 6 or 8. We're looking at double the time
Sure.
to get certain things. And of
Yeah.
course, we went through a period last year where if it came from China, we don't know when you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Unless it's in Walmart.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's, all of our, we go through that. You want to buy American, right? You want to buy
Right.
American and put as many American-made products in your home, but then we're dealing with, COVID shutdowns in these manufacturing plants and whatnot.
I want to buy American and all that. I really do. I
Sure.
wish we could do that, but we are in a different economy, and we have been for many years.
Yeah.
And we are not accustomed to spending that kind of money. It just doesn't work. And so certain things, of course, we
Sure.
want to buy American, but everyday stuff,
Yeah.
you couldn't afford to buy American.
No, you can't.
You couldn't
Yeah,
do it.
you're disposable
It's
commodities
sad,
and-
but true.
Yeah,
So
right.
we are what we are.
We
right?
are.
We
Yeah,
are
it's a
the
global
Walmart
economy.
generation, baby. How has the COVID thing impact, or has it still impacting your business any, or your workmen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of become the new norm now. Obviously, we were all learning this together, right?
Right.
The Dallas Builders Association did a great job of trying to kind of get the word out and kind of help us with PPP products on the job site, and just it's crazy. I mean, it's like, everybody's wearing masks. You got to have hand sanitizer on the jobs now. You got to have wash stations. Not multiple crews on the job site at the same time. But it's, I guess, we were grateful that we're still open and we're able to do that. When you look at some other industries and, how they've been decimated by it.
Right.
It's, you're kind of pinching yourself because we've almost seen we have seen an uptick, in new home construction and new home, remodel. People are spending more time.
And your projections for 2021 for your business, how's that looking for you?
I mean, I think it's looking good. I mean, there's the phone's ringing. Houses now are becoming the office as well. We've got a couple houses in design right now that have 2 home offices in them. I think that's going to become the norm.
And a schoolroom.
A school
a classroom.
Well, the schoolroom's always been there. It's
Yeah.
the kitchen table,
Yeah.
right? So that's always been there.
That's
but
right.
definitely too. With the couples, they want to work from home spots.
Uh-huh.
I think that there's going to be a lot of companies that realize that we don't need as much office space as long as we can be productive and people can work from home.
It's been an amazing, rapid change in society the last year, and it's directly reflected in our business because we're dealing at such a personal level with people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing is when you're meeting clients out on job site and and you've got the mask on and you can't shake hands.
I
with your
still
clients
don't know what
anymore.
any of my clients look like.
Right.
I'm like, man, you got nice eyes. Oh, yeah, it's a guy with the green eyes over there.
Right. Well, some of us we don't have to shave anymore,
Yeah,
right?
no.
It's covered up with a mask.
Yeah, that's right. A little deodorant, you're good to go.
You're good to go. Yeah. It's a weird world out there.
Yeah.
So you just got to adapt and keep moving.
And I sure appreciate you coming and spending time with us this morning. It's really been great.
Oh, I enjoy it.
And I hope your business takes off like a rocket and you're just too busy to do this again. But if not, we will do it again. 'Cause I
Awesome.
enjoy having you here so much.
Thank you, sir. I
Thank
enjoyed it
you
as well.
so much. Michael Turner with Classic Urban Homes in Dallas. You should, if you're thinking about building a house, give this guy a call. He is really, really a fine builder. And if you enjoy this show, go to YouTube and like us and subscribe and follow and do all the wonderful things that you can do. Go to Facebook and like us and follow us and say hi. Send us any kind of questions that you have on YouTube or Facebook. I'm interested to know your thoughts on the show, as long as they're nice. And also, make sure and check out our podcast. Our podcast is really getting a lot of traffic right now. It's on Spreaker, but you can get it on any of your podcast sites. It's Remodel Revolution. And thank you so much. And until next week, this is Alex Guthrie. Have a wonderful week.